include going to the overnight stays in the hospital, trying new medications, and nerve blocks or nerve burns. The biggest treatment that I received and what changed me was I spent 3 weeks in Cleveland, Ohio in the Cleveland Clinic's Adolescent Pain Program. Before I went there, I probably hadn't been to school in a couple weeks, and the only days that I could go, I barely made it through that single day. When I went, there were 4 other girls that went in there with me. Unfortunately, I was the youngest, and I was the only one that suffered from chronic migraines. While we were there, we had to do multiple things. We had to go to physical therapy, recreational therapy, we had to swim every other day, and we also had school. While this was based on a normal life, I hated it there. But it actually pushed me to go back and live a normal life. In fact, the Monday that I came back, I went back to school. This is a picture of the 5 of us who were there. Starting from right to left, there's Hannah, Anise, Katie, Alex, and myself. Unfortunately, the second girl to the right, Anise, is no longer with us. She passed away in her sleep last year. There is a side effect to having chronic migraine. That side effect is depression. Again, this can come from the stress of living with a pain every single day, or it can come from the medications that alter your moods or way of thinking. On top of maybe feeling depressed, many feel rejected by their friends or family because they can no longer live a normal life, and people assume that and don't involve them in anything. Employers also lose money due to people that miss work from chronic migraine. On average, they lose $15 million a year due to missed days of work. This leads employers to believe that chronic migraine is false and it is an excuse to get out of work. As you can believe, 90% of people in their lifetime have experienced a headache. This causes them to think that migraines are just another headache and they can, quote, get over it, when in fact, chronic migraine is not something you can just get over. When they say these words, it can really hurt a person, especially women with a history of migraines are 41% more likely to become depressed from these words. Now, there is a stigma that surrounds CM. That stigma is one that is similarly felt by people that live with epilepsy. The stigma that people with CM feel is that people think that chronic migraine is fake, and they never believe the person that has it. This is why people with CM want it to be labeled officially as a disability. They want it that way because the word disability is an easy term for others to understand. By medical definition, a disability is a physical or mental condition that limits a person's movement, senses, or activities. By this definition, CM is a disability. While people that have CM want it to be labeled as a disability, they do not want you to count them as disabled. This is because on a good day, they want you to realize that they are still the same person under all of that. They want you to have fun and they want to go out and do things with you. But on a bad day, they want you to understand that there are simply things they cannot do because CM is a disability. Dr. R. Joshua Wooten put it nicely by saying that there is no test for chronic migraine. This leads others to believe that it is fake and do not believe the person that has it. There are government programs that will help the age and people that have chronic migraine. To get Social Security disability, you must meet the following 3 requirements. You must have an impairment, which is the loss of or loss of use of a body part, organ system, or organ function. The second requirement is the function limitation or difficulty performing actions such as walking or driving. The last requirement is an alteration in one's personal or social life. The benefits of having a Social Security disability would be that others will recognize CM as a more serious condition than what they previously thought. They will be eligible for government aids in order to help them get back to work or get them better insurance. And friends and family might be more understanding of one's limitations if they classified it as a disability. But of course, everything good in life comes with a downside. To have it recognized as a disability, you could have isolation from events and friends because they think you are, quote, disabled. The government aids can only last for 2 years unless you are put on permanent disability, which means you can no longer work. People may also think that your disability is now false, because on good days they see you up and walking around, you're not disabled, they never see you on those bad days. 92 of the patients that get government aids are still labeled as disabled 3 years later. And the employment rate is 2.5 to 4 times higher than the average person due to days lost of work. Now, since having chronic migraine, since February 22nd, 2009, I've had a ripple effect in my life. The downsides is that since having it in the 5 years, I've probably missed the equivalent of 2 years of school. I've lost friends because I've been called a liar and a fake. I've had to teach myself many subjects in school just to pass a grade. And I have gone through many doctors. But this has also had a positive effect on my life. I have found real friends that know everything and stick by me. I have found others just like me who really want to get together and create a support group. I've grown a thicker skin so that these words no longer hurt me as much as they did. And I've learned what is best for me, not what a doctor says is best for me. Anyone who lives with chronic migraine can tell you the same thing, that there are good sides and downsides to having this. But the point of it is to take the good and the bad and keep on with your journey and make something positive out of your life. Moving on to my product. My original idea was to create a local support group in Columbus, Ohio for those that live with this. My biggest problem was, after creating my Facebook page, I found that I only had